Have you come across the terms like social injustice, discrimination, oppression? Then you must read the story A Corpse in the Well by Shankar Ramchandra Kharat, a famous Marathi writer. A Corpse in the Well is an extract from the book Taral Antral, an autobiography by Shankar Ramchandra Kharat, an established Dalit writer in the post independence Indian literature scene. This is a story about duty and servitude and how many Dalits fail to see the discrimination of the caste system. The story also criticizes how the caste system exists only for the betterment of the higher classes and how education can be the answer to the caste discrimination. The story's primary themes seem to be on emphasizing the difference in power that exists in villages and how the Mahars or Dalits are treated cruelly and in an almost subhuman fashion. In this story, the writer's father remembered the dangers of village duty, which was a perpetual noose around the neck of a Mahar. His father was on vacation in his village. A corpse was floating in the abandoned well near the village. It had blotted and risen to the surface. The village chief, the Patil, had received the news. The Mahars and the Ramoshi had got the news. His father, who was known as Anna, as the Mahar on village duty, the Ramoshi and his father stayed the whole night by the well to guard the corpse. In the morning, the head constable, another policeman, they were expected for the initial inquiry. Till then, as per the custom, the Mahar and Ramoshi would have to guard it. His mother knew that she was expecting his father's arrival, but it was afternoon, and yet his father had not returned home. His mother sent him with his father's bhakri wrapped in a cloth. His father was sitting nearby the well. He told his father his mother had asked for him. His father told him that the policemen were not arrived. Till the investigation, the Mahar will not take rest. His father started smoking. He thought that his father was suppressing his hunger, so he told him to eat his bread, which he had brought with him. His father told him that when everything is over, he will take rest. He was told by his father that the policemen were arrived in the village. They were dining. The corpse will be taken out of the well and they will investigate it. Then he will be free. The conversation goes on. Shankar insisted his father for his bread, and his father meekly denied. Shankar requested him that he will do his duty till his lunch, but his father do not want that Shankar should do such undignified jobs like him. In the meanwhile, the policeman arrived. The head constable arrived on the horse. Everyone had paid the homage to him. The Ramoshi tied up the horse to a tamarind tree. His father brought water and some fresh green grass for the Sahib's horse. The constable looked into the well and looked around and again peeped into it. He watched the steps of the well which were buried in the soil. Some steps were slipped into the water. It was an abandoned well. The constable and the village chief whispered something, and the constable ordered the village Mahar to fetch the dead body from the well. Shankar's father requested that the Mahar's duty is just to guard the dead body, but the Sahib had ordered him, otherwise, he threatened him. You lump of dirt! Are you going to jump, or do I have to whip you? Shankar's father remained silent. Seeing this, the village chief and the head constable started bombarding his father with threats and curses. His father remained silent to the oppressive power. All these things shocked the little mind of Shankar. He heard the curses, threats, and shouting. A number of questions raised in his mind. Why his father was threatened? Whose well? Whose dead body is this? He thought about all this because he has some education to his credit. He could understand this injustice done to his father. His father was innocent. He had not done anything wrong. His crime was being the Mahar of the village. He was on his Mahar duty. Suddenly, by listening this, the head constable charged at the small Shankar and he said, "Catch him! Give the bastard a good beating." At this, his father removed his clothes. He went inside the well through the rope. There was a furious dialogue between Shankar and the head constable. He requested him to come out of the well, and he will manage to go there. Till the end of the story, we can see the suffering of the village Mahar doing his duty, and the son, who was very much worried about his father and family. This story reflects that the caste system in the Indian society was based on exploitation, inequality, and untouchability. The untouchables lived a life of poverty, starvation, ignorance, insults, and injustice. They had to face the atrocities in their day to day life. Today, they are trying to raise their voice against these inequalities and exploitations. All human beings are equal and should be treated equally. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. Hello, dear friends. Have you ever imagined the effects of natural disasters on citizens and displaced population? To experience this, let's analyze a famous story, The Refugee, written by famous American author Pearl S. Buck. S. Buck was a Nobel Prize winning author. Her classic novel, The Good Earth, 1931, was awarded a Pulitzer Prize and William Dean Howells Medal. She spent much of the first half of her life in China, where many of her books are set. In 1934, civil unrest in China forced Buck back to the United States. Throughout her life, she worked in support of civil and women's rights, and she established Welcome House, the first international interracial adoption agency. In addition to her highly acclaimed novels, Buck wrote two memoirs and biographies of both of her parents. She was the first American woman who received Nobel Prize for Literature in 1938. More than that, she was the author of 70 books. Before we analyze the story, let's understand who is refugee. Refugees mean the people who leave their native land and move to another land due to natural calamity or any war. To secure their life, they are forced to leave their native land. They struggle their life without food and shelter in an unknown environment. When the refugees move to another land as wanderers, they follow the various traditional food of other people. Due to this, they lose their identity, culture, and tradition. The story brings out the tragedy of those hardworking poor people who are uprooted from the land as a result of natural calamities like floods. Even as they look for work or a temporary support, they are generally treated as beggars in the alien land. The story The Refugees deals with the sufferings of the people who had to seek shelter during the 1931 floods in the Yangtze River. The Chinese farmers who were well to do became homeless and landless over the night due to the floods. Fate turned very cruel to them and made them starve. Every day, many men and women were migrating towards the city. They were sheltered in campus outside the city wall. They were fed and clothed somehow by the city people. Later, the local people found it troublesome to have to feed the poor refugees. The refugees became rickshaw pullers and beggars. There were no common men and women, but their fate turned them into refugees. An old man, last in the procession, was carrying a child and a cauldron in his basket. He walked with difficulty and was panting desperately. He was starved but unwilling to beg, while the other refugees were begging and rickshaw pulling. The child had no food for a long time. A kind man passed by them and gave him 2 coins, one silver and one copper coin. In fact, the old man did not beg him. He bought a small bowl of noodles with a copper coin and he fed his grandson with them. The old man told the vendor that he was his grandson. and his parents drowned when the dikes broke. After feeding the child, he handed the bowl back to the vendor. The vendor wondered why the hungry old man was not willing to spend the silver coin and have another bowl of noodles. The old man said that it was for buying the seed. Then he took his load again and went away. The old man saved the silver coin to buy seed and to save his land. He had a deep attachment to his land. He was proud of his occupation as a farmer. This old man was self reliant and unwilling to beg. He attached great to saving for the seed. This is the typical character of this farmer. This story shows the selflessness and the nobility of the farmer's character. Now, let's discover the themes of the story. Pearl S. Buck points out that life is very difficult for refugees and that they encounter many difficulties and barriers in life with bravery. This short story shows the importance of food and hardships in refugees' life through various incidents. In the story, we see that refugees worked for low wages in order to fulfill their needs, and the uncontrollable hunger made them eat the seeds that they kept for planting, and they did whatever they could. Due to the flood, the old man had lost his son and daughter in law. Owing to the flood, refugees' lives became economically unstable. The refugees' primary need was to fulfill their hunger. In this short story, the old man was not aware of the next meal of the day, so he was saving it for future needs. He should have used a silver coin to relieve his hunger. His thinking of saving the silver coin reveals a futuristic vision, and he wants to satisfy the appetite of many for the coming days. Through this, he will rebuild a better future for the refugees. The other important theme of the story is the importance of humanity. The author underlines the significance of humanity in his work. Humanity plays a critical role in the lives of all. Buck expresses the word humanity through the character the vendor. The vendor of noodles offered the old man a cup of noodles for the copper coin. Everyone should have the quality that gives strength to the relationship. Dear friends, thank you so much for watching this video. You can reach me at mukeshenglish@gmail.com. Do subscribe, like, and share. Thank you once again. What is friendship? It's a state of enduring affection, esteem, intimacy, and trust between two people. As we grow up, our choices and our priorities determine the nature of a friendship. Due to so many reasons, our attitude changes towards friendship with the passage of time. But again, the same time brings back the forgotten memories, the forgotten friendship to its glory. To experience this bond of friendship, let's go through a famous poem, Bonds of Friendship, written by Craig Buckholder. It was first time published in the social media in 2014. It's a well composed poem which talks about the reunion with a childhood friend. Bonds of friendship. From the day that I first knew you, your heart was pure and kind, your smile was sweet and innocent, your wit was well refined, the sparkle in your eyes was keen, your friendship fast and real, soft words were your virtue, and humor your appeal. We grew as friends together, we laughed and shared our dreams. Along the way, crush or two went unrevealed, it seems. As years rolled on, our paths were split, our roads went separate ways, we each pursued our interest that occupied our days. We soon forgot our youthful bliss of tender carefree years. We didn't talk or keep in touch throughout life's pain and tears. Then my darkest hour came and tried me to my core. To save my heart from ruin, I closed and locked the door. Then out of every nowhere, with precise directed cue, an old familiar smile came slowly into view. Although much time was gone, and the die of fate long cast, it was as if we hadn't missed a second of the past. You listened with attentive care and reassured my mind that loving hearts are still alive with purpose in design. Deep inside, I had locked away emotions yet untold. As time goes on and bonds grow strong, they will all unfold. So thank you, friend, for taking me to demonstrate your love. It's yet another blessing that I am undeserving of. In this poem, the poet is expressing about his friend's nature. His friend was compassionate, his smile would enlighten someone's day, and his smartness was pure. The poet details how rapidly his friendship grew because of the politeness of his friend. His friend even has a good sense of humor. The poet and his friend had talked about their dreams and ambition with each other while growing up. After a few years, when they become elder, their life decision changed, which made them grow apart. This distance was broadened by the busy schedule. Later in life, they forgot about their childhood memories. Back then, how carefree they were. Because of their busy schedule, they even forgot to be in touch. When the time had passed and the death was near, his friend came back to him. He still had same smile that would make anybody's day. This rebounding made him realize he had never left his friend. He was always in his memories. After meeting each other, his friend listened to him carefully and assured him that he had never forgotten him and his memories are still alive. Listening to his friend, the poet felt their friendship has grown more closer and stronger than ever. At the end of the poem, the poet thanked his friend for taking his time to meet him and express his feelings. The poet doesn't believe that he deserves such friendship. He thinks himself as privileged to have his friend. Hello, dear friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Mukesh English. Dear friends, imagine you are sitting in a quiet auditorium. A cell phone starts ringing, and someone begins to cough or somebody sneezing continuously. Such incidents happen all the time, and at worst, they cause minor irritation. We don't give them second thought. But what if your action affected someone higher up at your workplace? Would you be concerned or simply apologize and forget about it? Let's experience this in a comedic short story titled The Death of a Government Clerk by Russian playwright Anton Chekhov. Anton Chekhov was a Russian playwright and short story writer who is considered to be one of the greatest writers of all time. His career as a playwright produced four classics, and his best short stories are held in high esteem by writers and by critics. Along with Henrik Ibsen and August Strindberg, Chekhov is often referred to as one of the three seminal figures in the birth of early modernism in the theatre. Chekhov was a physician by profession. He once mentioned, "Medicine is my lawful wife and literature is my mistress." This story was first published in 1883. It involves Ivan Dmitrievich Chervyakov, a clerk who accidentally sneezes at an important general, Brizhelov. Though the general nearly instantly forgives him, Ivan panics and he is unable to recover from the mistake, whose psychological weight ultimately becomes fatal. Like many of Chekhov's works, The Death of a Government Clerk, the story, mocks at the absurd logic of bureaucracies and other modern power relations. It has been adapted into both a cartoon and a film. The story takes place in the 80s, where everyone has to show high levels of respect towards all of their superiors. The story first takes place in the Cloches de Cornwall, where a major event in the story occurs, proceeds to go back and forth between Yvonne's house and Bridge-Hellow's reception room. The short story begins with Yvonne reclining in a stall at the opera, relaxing to the beautiful music. He sneezes but manages to catch most of it with his handkerchief. When he glances around the box to see if his sneeze offended anyone, he is horrified to see an older man wiping his neck with his glove. He recognizes the man as General Brizhello of the Department of Transport. While Brizhello neither works with or nor knows Yvonne, Yvonne panics and whispers an embarrassed apology. Brizhello replies, "Never mind," an expression just open-ended enough to cause Yvonne even more anxiety. Yvonne decides to elaborate with some context to help the general understand that he truly did not mean to sneeze on him, but only irritates the general. After apologizing several more times, Yvonne becomes uncomfortable at the opera. He begins to perceive inaccurately a malicious glimmer in the general's eyes and concludes that the general must secretly believe that he intentionally spit on him. Once at home, Yvonne tells the story to his wife. She is initially worried that they may be in trouble, but is relieved when she finds out that he is from a different part of the government. Naively, she speculates that it would do some good for Yvonne to go and apologize again in person. At work the next day, Yvonne wears a new uniform and travels to the general's office to apologize again. When Yvonne gets there, he is held back by a group of petitioners who are being interviewed by the general. Yvonne waits for a while, then lines in after one petitioner concludes and apologizes for his lack of manners. Brizhello completely ignores him and continues to focus on the petitioners. Again, Yvonne reads his reaction as ambiguous and concludes that Brizhello is still angry about the sneeze. After the interview's end, he apologizes again, causing Brizhello some frustrations as he explains that it seems Yvonne is mocking him with his continuous apologies. At this, Yvonne is offended and decides to stop trying to get through with his apology. Once back at home, Yvonne tries to compose a letter to Brizhello but suffers from the writer's block. Finally, he determines to go back to the general's office to apologize. This time, there are no petitioners and he approaches him directly. Brizhello is clearly upset at Yvonne's foolishness and orders him to leave. Disappointed, Yvonne goes home but falls deeply ill while walking and barely makes it home. When he finally enters his house, he lies on the couch and dies. The trivial, unnecessary death of the government clerk points humorously to the strange ironies and experiences of strained deference to an arbitrary social order and its accompanying set of norms of interaction, which often confuse rather than illuminate meaning. Character versus character. Yvonne was trying to apologize to Brizhello for sputtering on him. When Brizhello screamed, "Be off!" Brizhello suddenly turned purple and started shaking. Yvonne became numb with fear and later died. Throughout the story, Brizhello and Yvonne clashed between the different views of what the other was trying to do. If Yvonne would have accepted that Brizhello did not want an apology, there would have not been a problem. And if Brizhello would have accepted Yvonne's apology, then there would have not been a problem either. All they had to do was to understand what the other person was trying to accomplish. So the moral of the story is here: show acceptance and understanding towards everyone. So dear friends, the story The Death of the Government Clerk reflects few themes like embarrassment, fear, anxiety, worry, insecurity, and appearance. Dear friends, thank you so much for watching this video. You can reach me at mukeshenglish@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe this channel, click on the like button, also comment. Thank you once again.